Some people seem to attract toxic individuals again and again, while others rarely get dragged into the same drama. Picture this. Two co-workers join the same office on the same day. Both are polite, both are kind. But within weeks, one of them becomes the target. Constant criticism, passive-aggressive jokes, subtle manipulation. The other co-worker, almost untouched. The toxic person barely tries. Why? It's not luck. It's not that one person is stronger, colder, or more intimidating. Often, the difference is something much quieter, something psychological. A subtle signal people send without realizing it. And strangely, once that signal changes, toxic people often lose interest. They stop pushing, they stop testing. Sometimes, they simply move on to someone else. So what exactly are they sensing? And more importantly, how do some people unintentionally make themselves harder to target? Before we explore the answer, there's something important you shouldn't miss. Toxic people are often skilled pattern readers, not in a conscious way, but in a behavioral way. Research in social psychology shows that manipulative personalities tend to test boundaries early in interactions. Small things, a sarcastic comment, a slight disrespect, a request that feels slightly uncomfortable. Then they watch. Does the other person laugh it off, apologize quickly, over-explain themselves, or do they calmly hold their ground? These early moments are like behavioral signals. Think about everyday situations. A friend makes a rude joke at your expense in a group conversation. Someone interrupts you repeatedly in meetings. A relative pressures you to do something you clearly don't want. What usually happens next? Do you feel the urge to keep the peace? Do you smooth things over immediately? Most kind and empathetic people do. But here's the strange part. To someone looking for control, excessive politeness can sometimes look like permission. Not because you are weak, but because your boundaries remain invisible. And when boundaries are invisible, they get tested again and again. So what actually makes toxic people stop targeting someone? Surprisingly, it's rarely aggression. It's clear emotional boundaries, not loud, not dramatic, just consistent. Psychologists studying interpersonal dynamics often describe this as low reactivity with high clarity. In simple terms, calm responses, firm limits. For example, if someone makes a cutting joke, instead of laughing along nervously, a simple response can change the tone entirely. Hey, I'd rather not joke about that. No anger, no long explanation, just clarity. Or when someone keeps interrupting, I wasn't finished speaking. Again short, direct. Notice something important. These responses are not confrontational, but they quietly signal something powerful. I'm respectful, but I'm not easy to push. Toxic personalities often lose interest when control becomes difficult. Not because you defeated them, but because the reward disappears. Manipulation works best when the other person absorbs discomfort silently. Once that pattern breaks, the dynamic changes, and sometimes, surprisingly quickly. In nature, predators rarely chase animals that show clear strength and awareness. Not because the animal is aggressive, but because the chase becomes unpredictable. Human interactions can work in similar ways. Toxic people often searched consciously or unconsciously for the easiest emotional path. The person who apologizes first. The person who absorbs tension quietly. The person who keeps the peace at their own expense. But when someone learns to carry themselves differently, not colder, not harsher, just clearer, something subtle shifts. The same manipulative behavior that once continued, suddenly stops working. And often, the person behind it simply moves on. Not because you changed who you are, but because you finally allowed your boundaries to be visible. If you've ever noticed moments like this in your own life, I'd be curious to hear your experience. Sometimes the smallest changes in behavior reveal the most about human psychology.